Medicalia is a high-quality clinic from Europe, which is now in the Gambia. Do you have an eye problem? Do you feel a hearing difficulty? Medicalia is here to ease the pain for you. The first and only hearing aid dispensing facility nationwide, where patients can be tested and treated to recover from their hearing loss. Fitted with latest generation equipment, our doctors can provide healthcare assistance for eyes, ears, nose, and throat. Common diseases like glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy can be diagnosed and followed up for fast and correct treatment. Make your appointment with the eye or ear, nose, and throat ENT specialist today to relieve any pain you might be feeling, as consultants are available daily. Contact us for more information. Visit us at Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week, or call us on 503-4411 or 7767-123. Medicalia, premium care, personal touch.
Medicalia, premium care, personal touch. We're back again on another edition of This Morning here on QTV. I am Ibrahim Balde, and of course, it's the 19th of September 2022. A whole lot of things happening. I mean, it's a date that will never repeat itself again. 2022, 19th September will never come back again.
Neither will the 20th, the 21st, any date
None
you
of the
can.
dates will come back.
Every date only comes once.
It's important, you know. The other day I was riding on my bike and I saw my mileage said 1111. I said, wow.
You should have
it will never repeat itself.
You should have taken
again.
a picture of it. You should have
yes.
taken.
On the program, I'm joined by Lolly M. Kamara. Lolly, you're welcome.
Thank you very much, Mr. Valde. It's good to be here and join you on the platform.
Absolutely, we miss you.
Yeah, I've been around doing some other things related to work.
Been busy.
Exactly. So
Yes.
how was your weekend, Lolly?
Oh, Alhamdulillah, it was good. I had fun with my kids.
Oh,
yeah, they
the
were
kids.
on my neck that I have to take them out, or else I wouldn't enjoy the last days of their holiday. So I had to take them out yesterday, and we really had fun.
Oh, exactly.
But I'm like, I'm never gonna take you out again, especially at the beach, because they were too stubborn.
Yeah.
The little one was just like running, and I'll be running after him because he wanted to go and swim.
You know, there is something wrong with children. I mean, sometimes I complain about mine. You know, Mr. Adi, it's difficult to control, monitor certain children.
Yesterday was
But I think it's all the same everywhere. I mean, children are always children.
They're children, and they can be inquisitive, and they seem to have a lot of energy. And you never know where they get the energy from.
Like seriously,
It's
yeah.
quite remarkable. My son was quite terrible. He was full of energy, and he hated sleeping. He hated, you know, it's like, so we had to make sure he was exhausted. And this next story I'm telling you is the truth. One day he was talking to me, and he said, Daddy, we were going to the market, and in mid-sentence, he fell asleep. I swear.
Then he was exhausted.
He was really exhausted. In mid-sentence, he just.
Oh.
And
So your
I
efforts
called.
paid dividend.
They did, but it meant it was exhausting for us as well, because you know we had to also keep up with him in order to exhaust him.
Yeah, it's
Exactly.
really not easy
Yes.
to be
But,
around kids, but it was fun.
But it's lovely to have them around too.
Of course.
You know, my home, it's such a noisy home now, to an extent. If they go somewhere, you know, I feel very bored.
silence is-
silent. Sometimes I'm surprised what is happening.
Yeah.
Exactly. So we are back again. We'll be doing the African proverb on this program, and of course, we'll be doing the newspaper review. And our newspaper review guest is already here. I mean, he's not a guest. I mean, we can call you a guest.
Regular
Our
guest.
regular guest, yes.
So, I mean, we'll also be talking to Opticalia. I mean, the sponsors of this program, as you know, they specialize on ear, eye, and of course, anything that have to do with your ear, your eyes,
Nose and throat.
Nose and throat.
Yep.
I mean, they are specialists.
ENT, just
they,
remember
They are
that.
very good at it. So they'll
Yeah.
be on this program, I mean, to tell us what they do and some of the things that are important, I mean, like for us to hear. On social issues, we'll be talking to the immigration PRO, Mamading S. Diba, on the airport fee. I mean,
security
the
fee.
security fee. I mean, it's making a whole lot of noise for the past months. I mean, we've heard the Minister of Tourism saying it is wrong, it is unheard of, this is not part of their rules.
Yes.
I mean, so I don't know why are we still charging this at the airport.
He didn't hold back in his criticism. He was very blunt.
So we also have, like, they also had an encounter with one Seth Mati, the Executive Director of Center for Research and Policy Development, last week. I mean, I think this is part of, well, it's making a whole lot of noise too. People are talking about it, and I think still his passport is with the immigration at the airport. But he will clarify, because we'll be talking to him on the program.
Good.
Yes, exactly. So we'll also start with the African proverb, Lolly.
Yes, African proverb
What
reads.
does it read?
Yeah, no matter how old a man is, he still remains a child to his parents.
And we were just talking about parents and children.
You see?
Interestingly, and of course, I think they should be a man or woman. It should be he or she is still a child to his or her parents,
Exactly.
because I think it's the same for both men and women.
Both
you know,
men and
I
women.
grew up and I heard this every time I seemed to be getting out of line. My mother would always tell me, "You're still my child," you know, and that kind of gave you a reality check. So I think this proverb is very true. It's
Yes,
very true.
It is indeed true. Like they will say, no matter how long a stick stays in the river, it can never turn to be a crocodile.
Yeah, exactly.
So I
Absolutely.
think it's the same here. No matter how big you have grown to be, you're still a child under the care of your
to
your parents.
Your parents
So
are
this
your
is
parents.
indeed something that we also always need to pay attention to, because even with your position, with all the wealth you have, no disrespect to your parents, because of them you're able to gain what you gain. Because of them, they could have just strangled you there when you're born at the first place. But they don't care. Yeah,
Some
they
parents
took
will
care
tell
of
their
you.
children, I
wish I had.
Like, yeah, you see,
strangle you when
like,
you were a
it's
baby.
like seriously. So they took care of you,
Yeah.
even at their odd hours, you know, like my case yesterday, even though I wasn't fully into it, because going out is not my time, but I have to do it for my kids.
You have to
So, you know,
manage.
we sacrifice a lot for them.
Sometimes it pains, but you still have to manage to smile so that the kids
Like,
can feel
yeah.
comfortable.
Exactly.
Yes, when you look at the proverb, it goes beyond only parents. It's telling you activities of our daily lives. I mean, it's telling you experience. I mean, no matter how big a calabash is, there must be another one that can cover it completely. It's telling you your master is your master. It's telling you, I mean, a person who trained you into a particular profession is always ahead of you.
Well, not always.
Yes, but in our African context,
Yeah,
a person
yeah,
who
yeah.
trained you, let's take tailoring for example.
Yes.
If at all you train me on tailoring,
Yes.
I will forever see you as my head, as my master. I can, even if I learn skills that are new, that are recent.
And
I
even
mean,
better than
yeah,
what you
still
taught
I-
me.
Still
It's just
I have
like,
that,
it's just like
still
teachers,
I
you
have
know?
that respect for you.
Sure.
Your teacher is your teacher. When
Yeah.
you see him,
I
you
think-
point at him.
Yeah.
I think respect has a lot to do with it. You're right.
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah, because the teachers are somebody that we can never pay them for what they do.
Sure.
So that respect goes along to them.
Especially the good teachers.
The
As
good
for the
teachers.
teachers who used to beat me, I don't know, I wish I could pay them back in some way. But that's another matter altogether.
So respect is just respect, and I think these proverbs, people really need to pay attention to that.
Sure.
Because we are not only here to read them, but we're here to send a signal or to remind their word and, you know, the attachments that it has when it comes to society. So I think it's not only reading the proverbs on this morning, but it has to go beyond that.
Interpreting them, what's the deeper
Exactly, and
meaning?
Thank you. and
Well, it draws
understanding
my
the proverb.
attention. Let's talk about respect. I mean, some people said respect, you earn it.
It's reciprocal.
I mean, you earn respect, Mr.
Give and
Ade.
take.
How come? I mean, do you?
I've
you earn
always
it?
I've always believed in that. I've never been one to say that because somebody is in a particular position, therefore immediately you give them respect. Because if that person is disrespectful to you, then why should you be respectful to them? And you know, when I was a manager in the civil service in the United Kingdom, I used to clash with a lot of my senior officers, because if they were rude to my staff in public, I would be rude to them in public. And guess what? They never liked it.
They would
And I used to say to them, there you are. That's the example. If you are respectful to people, you will get respect. And if you are
Definitely.
disrespectful to people, you deserve disrespect. So if somebody disrespects you just because of their position, you don't have to show them respect. They have to earn it.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
They absolutely have
Well,
to
I
earn
think
it.
it's important, well, for us to understand. I mean, at some point, I also agree, Mr. Ade, on respect should be earned. I mean, no matter how respectful you are to certain people, I mean, they'll also return that respect. I mean, at some point, you can also see, you know, a person who is so disrespectful. You think this person is so disrespectful. But, I mean, the way you treat the individual, you realize the guy also will have so much respect for you. I mean, the society is full of issues, it's full of problems. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah, we
yes.
always say
Yes.
that. Even you will hear that this guy is too, you know, mean. No, he's not nice to anybody. But I think if you're being nice to the guy, or you know, if you never had an encounter with him, there wouldn't be that craziness coming from that end. So I think, like he said, it has to be earned. You know, respect has to be earned.
But do you know who society respects now? The people that society respects is the people that have money, even if they are rude.
It's not now. That's always been the case.
So people respect you based on money.
Yes.
You go to religious places, most of the time, they respect like the one that have money. You go to our society, you go to,
when you say religious places, what do you mean?
even if you go
In
to
a mosque.
if you go to the worship house, sometimes
So masjid, or
they give more respect to
the
people,
person, the
to
rich
people.
person.
Exactly. I mean, maybe an individual who doesn't even have anything will not be regarded. You know, it's not only limited to the mosque.
No,
But
Yeah.
some
almost.
I think in that case,
I mean,
you can always have your
yes,
self-respect.
that's why I said the
Religious,
yes,
yeah,
yes,
yeah.
exactly. So it's like I think society is getting it wrong there. I mean, it doesn't mean people should be respected based on what they have.
It's not new.
Yeah, it has
Just
been
for your
for
information, it's always been that way, that people who have money and power, sometimes they have both, they get probably more respect than they deserve, because people either don't want to upset them because they have money and power, and you know, they go somewhere and people are deferential to them and so on, because they have money.
Exactly.
It's not always good.
Exactly.
So that's not new. That's always
it
been.
has been
this-
going on for a long time.
Well, I mean, just
since
to,
human beings have
exactly,
been around.
just to remind our viewers that, I mean, we'll be connecting to England. I mean, as you know, today is the burial of the late Her Majesty
Queen Elizabeth,
Queen Elizabeth II. I mean, she'll be laid to rest today. It's on the 19th. That's why at the beginning of the program I said today it's 19, and it's going to be a day that will never come back.
It's you know, interestingly, this morning, you know, when I come in the mornings, I usually go around all the news, DW, France 24, Al
So
Jazeera.
we'll take a look at the happening.
Oh, here we are.
back,
Yeah.
yes. Exactly, Mr. Ade. You know, this is what is happening right now,
Yes.
and I can see a whole lot of world leaders gathered. I mean, to pay their last respect to Her Majesty.
Westminster Abbey. I think 2,000 people have been invited, which is a lot, but still quite small for the number of people who wanted
to
to
go.
go. Some world leaders, heads of state, have chosen not to go, and that's a beautiful shot we're seeing there from the top of the Abbey, and it shows you the range of the place. And I was saying just before we went to these pictures, all the news media I checked today, this was their story.
Sure.
No matter which, from Saudi to America. This is Dame Scotland, yes, Patricia Scotland, Commonwealth Secretary General. That's just come up on the screen, in fact.
Yeah.
She, of course, is somebody who has met the Queen on a number of occasions because of her position.
And I think the Queen has been a role model for many.
Yes.
Yes.
So, Mr. Ali, that reminds me, I mean, as much as we are talking about the Queen's funeral here, but we can still reflect on some of the impact that she have done during her lifetime.
Yes.
Yes, I can remember when I watched a documentary about her when she took over. She was around the 26 or 27.
She's younger than that.
Younger than that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
I mean, I think that was a big challenge. I mean, for a
22,
person,
I think.
for a person of that age to take up responsibility. I mean, I think so that was a great thing to do.
It was. I mean, but don't forget that they come from a family where they have been trained and brought up to know that one day this is your destiny. This is what you are being trained for. So it doesn't come as a surprise. They know that one day if the parent dies, they will become the monarch. They obviously want for it to be pushed as far as possible. And she was in Kenya at the time that she got the news that her father had passed away.
Yeah.
And she had to go back. So, but she was young. She was very young, as you rightly say. And what she did was, and the thing that people hold in respect, there have been some criticisms, of course.
Sure.
But she oversaw when the British Empire was crumbling, and it was moving from being the British Empire to the British Commonwealth. That happened under her. And when I say empire, a lot of the countries that were ruled directly by Britain were now gaining independence. And I was going to say almost, in fact, all of them gained their independence under her, actually. In Ghana, 1957, and then the others followed. You know, the bigger ones, Nigeria, Kenya, of course, Gambia, Sierra Leone. All of that happened under her. And she visited, I think, all of those countries, actually. And famously, when she made her 1961 visit of West Africa, she not exactly broke protocol, but she did something quite historic. And that was she visited Senegal and Liberia, two countries that had never been part of. So she was groundbreaking in many ways. And in fact, just over the weekend, I was looking for some footage of her visit to Gambia. And I went on British Pathé News, which used to record all these visits. And I found that, in fact, one of the pieces of footage, which was 6 minutes and 39 seconds, they had mislabeled. They said it was her visit to Ghana. In fact, it was her visit to Liberia. So I actually wrote to them and said, actually, this is so historic, because no British monarch had ever visited Liberia. And you have mislabeled it. And they said they would check and probably change it. But that was kind of thing.
She was an icon. I mean,
she
a
was.
person. She served as a supporting for almost many countries, because I mean, for us, we grew up, you know, knowing the Queen is there.
She was always there.
Even our parents were like, they also. That's how, I mean, the Queen was. I mean, I think it's a great loss, and you know, we are praying for her and also the people of England.
Yes, and you know, if people doubted the love that people in England or Great Britain have for her, they only had to see the tens of thousands who lined up for up to 16 hours to file past her coffin as it lay in state. I mean, it's quite remarkable. And they didn't give preference to anybody, pretty much. And so we were saying before we came on air that David Beckham said, you know, he queued for 12 hours before he got to where they were. And by the end, they were pleading with people not to come because they were not going to be able. The queue at its longest was 5.5 miles long to get to see. And that is a kind of, I think that shocked everybody. They knew that, yes, she was popular. And in a sense, she's been more popular than even the establishment that she represents, than the monarchy, than there was a particular popularity that was solely based on her. And it would be interesting to see whether that transfers to King Charles, as he is. I almost called him Prince Charles, one is so used. So King Charles III, as he is, you know, her eldest son, who's now the monarch.
Exactly. So that's it. Mr. Ade, we'll go back to the newspaper review.
Sure.
We have a headline here. Gambia Press Union urges GRTS to rescind directives of censoring coverage industrial action. And of course, we also have Transport Union Executive expressed disappointment with GRTS decision. Victim Center expressed disappointment on GRTS new editorial policy. GRTS should not entertain censorship, that's the editorial. And of course, we also have a National Human Rights Commission chairperson says TRRC exposes Gambians to horrors of dictatorship. Gambia government establishes councils, first ever GAF council. And of course, what does the president mean by tabling a draft constitution in his speech? Tabling, yes, rather. That's what we have on the foyer.
Yes,
Lolly?
with me, The Voice. NYC holds second edition of Youth Connect Forum 2022. Oppositions expressed disappointment over President Barrow's SONA address. Acting chairman of FI Bank rebunks GBC.
Trust me, I didn't understand that headline either, so don't even go there. I did not understand it, but read it out. Yeah, I can see you're struggling with it.
Exactly, yeah. So, and this one is from Duduja. I don't need to seek anybody's consent to make a declaration, says Duduja. Well, that's what I have on The Voice.
I think for the issue of Duduja, I don't think it's important for us to talk about it much, because he said he doesn't need to get anybody's consent. To talk about it, we don't need to give relevance.
It depends on what he's talking about, but I'll read my headlines. And I think there's been condemnation across the board for GRTS memo, in case people are wondering what this GRTS thing is. The boss there sent out a memo saying that they were not going to cover industrial action. And so GPU urges GRTS to rescind directive censoring coverage of industrial action. Again, Victims Center condemns GRTS memo as a threat to human rights. Cross-border trade and COVID-19 vaccination. What? Is that still going on? NAWEC's water, electricity business to be separated. I think that came up in the State of the Nation address.
Sure.
President Sall drops 15 ministers in major cabinet reshuffle.
What a cabinet reshuffle.
And it's a major one. And as they said, an ambassador, Professor Carr, is endorsed for UN top job. I think they mean top UN job. President Sall, he's also got 8 women and 8 youths in the new cabinet.
Wow.
Which is interesting.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know where, shall we start with GRTS?
Well, I think that's the hot take at the moment.
Hot, very hot.
Yeah, let's start with it. Last week we've seen a press release making circulation all over. People talking about what, the management said about not covering certain...
Yes, it wasn't a press release. It was an internal memo that somebody then leaked, actually, and they've done us all a favor by leaking that, because it was by the boss there, and essentially he was saying we're going to censor. If there's industrial action, if you think about it, imagine a strike that brings the whole country to a standstill. And everybody's wondering, why am I not getting my transport today? That would be the biggest news story.
That would be.
So if I'm a commuter and I'm concerned, I would wonder, why is there a strike? And GRTS, he is saying, should not go and interview the people responsible, saying, why are you striking?
To them again.
That is beyond ridiculous. Really.
Condemnation.
And so there has been this will not last, I can guarantee, because it's undemocratic for a news organization, for the national news, national broadcaster. Come on.
Well, it would have been better if it was a private TV station. A TV station that is not called a national TV station. I think they would have given it a second thought before writing such.
Sure.
Because anything that you write here, at the end of time, will be outside, and people will get to know about it.
Yeah. And I think it's a constitutional mandate to go out and protest. And GRTS,
should report on it.
Should report on it, because they are government. They're here for the people. It's a government on television, so Gambians have the voice to even go there and say, okay, we need you to open your gates for us. We want to say something.
Yeah, because the flip side of that is that if you don't interview the people who are responsible for the strike, then you can't report on the strike,
Exactly.
because you'll be giving a one-sided
And the story
version
wouldn't be
or
balanced.
it will not be balanced.
It wouldn't be
People will be saying,
balanced.
well, why are they striking? And they're like, well, we're not telling you why they're striking because we're not going to speak to them. You can't do that. You cannot do that.
I think they really need to reconsider their decision.
I think
and
after the venom that has been directed at them, I think they will have no option but to rescind that. So GPU, the Transport Union, Human Rights, everybody sensible is saying to them, just admit you're wrong in this case, and you cannot make such a
hate decision.
directive. Yeah, it's the worst thing, and it's not very well thought out.
Well, Mr. Ade, I mean, what is the status of the strike still? Are they still on? I mean, because
I think you know very well it is not.
Well, I've not seen any press release from.
But there was not affected directly,
No,
so
no,
he's
no.
not bothered.
Jumped on his motorbike and
Well, maybe I've not
Demaré.
read the press release
sure.
about the,
About the end of it?
Yes, exactly. I mean, so I was wondering what is happening.
Oh, it's over. The strike is over.
By the first day, which was the evening of the 12th of September, Monday, people who had struggled to work struggled less to get home, because some of the drivers had already broken ranks.
Yeah.
And probably there'd been complaints from home saying, you better bring your fish money.
Absolutely.
I talked to someone, he's a driver. I'm like, Alaji, you're driving today, what happened? You're back on traffic. He said, yes, I have to be back. I'm like, no, you should have continued the strike. He was like, don't mind these people.
No,
like,
I mean, you know, even if you agreed with their grievances, I think you have to look at the membership. This is their livelihood. In other words, it's the only way they can earn a living. If you are telling them to withhold their service, are you going to recompense them in some way? And if the answer to that is no, then that's asking asking a lot of them.
A country where you know people live from hand to mouth, Mr. Ade. I mean, people fend for their families. I mean, when you go out, the thing that you have, that's what you're going to eat tomorrow.
Sure.
And tomorrow there is nothing left at home, you need to go again, get something and come back. This is how people survive in this country. Whether people accept it or not, this is how people are living in this country. So it will be difficult for people to continue, Lolly, with 1 week of a strike. You said I shouldn't call it a sit-down strike.
No, I know everybody in Gambia loves the word sit-down strike. It's just a strike, but you can call it sit-down strike.
To sit down and strike.
Of course.
And that we are not moving, we are not doing anything,
but
so we just fold our hands.
We used to always refer to them as sit-down strikes, but you're right. Asking somebody for a week to stay off work when they've got no other means of earning money is asking quite a lot. You know, where they're going to get their rent money, where they're going to get their children's school fee money, and just the money for their daily food, really. As you said, you use the term hand to mouth.
Sure.
For a lot of people, that is their reality. Yeah.
I have seen on the paper, Gambia Police Force warns against the carrying of weapons in public.
I think they're talking about you, Balde. Have you been carrying anything?
No, I didn't carry anything. I'm empty. I am safe.
You clean.
I am censored.
Is there a reason why they have made
Mr. Ade, I have
this
seen
warning?
today in the morning 2 grown-ups with 2 machetes.
But is that not a tool of their trade? Are they not going to cut grass or
Well,
something?
I have not seen any sign of,
Of grass.
of grass. I mean, I think they were doing masquerade.
Oh,
Yes,
okay.
they were carrying it, although they were not in their masquerade uniform, but they were carrying the machete.
But you see, that is, this is where the things can get complicated, because yes, a machete, if you're using it on a farm, is a tool of your trade.
Yeah.
It's not a weapon,
And
but of
some
course
will-
it can be a weapon.
Some will
So-
go with it like
If you can
asking
allow me to
for
read this.
if you have any
Yes, so
job.
I'm intrigued as to what it
The
is.
Gambia Police Force, in a statement issued last Thursday, 15 September 2022, has seriously warned the general public against carrying weapons to being armed in public. According to the statement, the men and women in charge of protecting citizens' life and property noted with great concern the rise in domestic crime, mainly resulting to people illegally carrying weapons in public.
Because of the recent crimes.
They listed, I think, 9 or 10 cases that they said were domestic incidents in which people had been stabbed.
And that's last week.
Yes, although one of them happened in a football match. So as our colleague, Mr. Tunkara said, I'm not sure how that qualifies as domestic, but it certainly was knife crime related. And of course, it's concerning if in 1 week you have that number in a country of this size. You know, it's quite alarming. And you do wonder, you know, why there's that rise in people resorting to using knives. But yeah.
You know, people tend to question. I mean, we are questioning now what is happening. I mean, like 10, 15 years ago in this country, I mean, it's very rare for you to hear someone being killed.
No, except they were being killed by the state.
Exactly.
Not, we weren't killing each other.
Exactly.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of factors are contributing.
The types of killings we're having. Well, the killings by the state, I mean, I think the states should handle that. I mean, I think they are handling that. But like killing within ourselves.
In the communities. A lot of factors could be leading to
Lolly, you can attest to that.
Yeah.
It was very rare.
Yeah, look, as a journalist, as somebody in communications, we always caution against these things. When you're doing a course in journalism, they ask you the question, is something happening more or are people reporting it more? They're not the same thing.
Sure, yeah.
Now we all have phones, we have smartphones, most of us. In fact, as you know, Gambia ranks about 3rd in the world for smartphones to head of population. Apparently there are
Congratulations, Gambia.
4 smartphones for every Gambian.
Yes, definitely.
Among the highest in the world. So we use these smartphones, things happen and we send them around quickly and suddenly we think it's happening a lot more. So you always have to caution when you're a journalist, get the data to support it. So just because you're hearing it more doesn't mean it's happening more. They're not the same thing.
So you're telling me technology might be part of it.
This is why I say,
there's no might be.
Yeah, this is why I say a lot of factors could have been leading to this.
Sure.
So maybe we're reporting more about these things, you know, and you know, youths nowadays get involved in a lot of activities that triggers their actions.
Because what you find if you do journalism is that if something appears on the newspapers or on social media and it gets lots of people clicking, then people publish more of those things because they know it brings more people.
Sure.
So the newspapers will feature more of those stories and say, oh, you know, our readership liked this, or when we put it on our website, that was the most visited story. It was about a stabbing. So next week you put another stabbing, or you put 2 more stabbings because you know people are going to gravitate to that. So there's always that, and you always have to be, you know, conscious of that. So, you know, these things kind of become self-fulfilling that, oh, it's happening a lot. It might not be happening a lot,
I mean,
just being reported
I've also seen, I think you might have seen it too this morning, I've seen masquerade arrested.
They will allege that they steal, so
I mean,
they're accused of stealing.
People were sending comments saying this is a disrespect to our culture. Can you imagine? Like masquerades in the hands of the anti-crime unit behind their pickups.
Yeah, I saw it last
masquerades with their uniforms. I call it a uniform.
With their outfits.
With their red uniform.
Outfits.
Can you imagine?
It's
well, I mean, the people said it's a disrespect to our culture because this is our culture. We should, I mean, uphold it. We should respect our culture. But what about if our culture, people are using it to disguise, to come and cause trouble?
I think you've answered exactly your own question. That's exactly it. What if they're using it for that? They're not going around and arresting everybody who's performing masquerade. They have arrested specific ones who have allegedly done stuff. And so, yeah, it's not disrespecting the culture at all. The culture is disrespecting is somebody is using something to disrespect the culture. That is, they're getting involved in nefarious activities.
The culture is disrespecting itself.
Yes.
Someone said, do not break the law when breaking the law. I like that. Well, National Human Rights Commission chairperson says TRRC exposes Gambians to horrors of dictatorship.
Yes, I mean, part of this has come because there was a session last week when the Human Rights Commission and others called on National Assembly members to make sure that they make government stick to their promise to implement some of the
recommendations.
All of the recommendations. Sure. But what was interesting is that they were also cautioned to say that don't expect a quick fix with this, because some of these things will take years.
Sure.
And I think that was a message rather that needed to be said, because I've said it time and time and time again, having gone through this in Sierra Leone. We know that these things do not happen overnight.
No.
The fix cannot be a quick fix. And even more disappointingly, and the reason I want them to keep reminding parliamentarians, is that if you go back to the Sierra Leone one, it's not a scientific thing, so, but I'll say it nonetheless. I would say about 80% of the recommendations have not been implemented.
No.
As many as that. So Gambians shouldn't get too excited thinking, oh, government has said they're going to implement it. Sometimes the cost of implementing them is just prohibitive, and they just can't do it. So don't get too excited, too carried away, but nonetheless, those that can be implemented, and which government have said they will, let's make sure they do.
They'll take a look at it. Yes, very, very important. I mean, I think they did a wonderful job, the TRRC, exposing certain atrocities that happened during the former dictator's time.
Sure.
A dictator is a person who does not consult with anyone else.
Which can also be a monarch.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But yes, and you're right, they exposed lots of things. And what I particularly liked about it was that as it was starting, before they really got into the meat of it, and I've said this many, many times before, I kept hearing people saying, you wait and see all the people who did these bad things, they were not Gambians. Gambians have this ridiculous idea about themselves. We're such nice people, we don't kill, we don't this, that. Luckily, by the time they got to the end of it, they found out that 99.9999% were Gambians who did these atrocities.
You know, Lolly, at some point I wonder, how can a Gambian kill his fellow Gambian?
No, human beings
Look
can
at
do
you
it.
like this and gun you down,
Human
or
beings.
slaughter you,
Like he
or
said,
nylon bag you.
Human beings, you can
Human
never
beings can do
underrate.
it. Yeah,
You
the
can never
power
underrate.
of evil that resides
Thank
in
you.
us as human beings. We can do some of the wickedest things.
Especially when
Imagine.
you're obsessed, or you're like looking for something in that person. You think when you get rid of that individual, you'll be in a position.
Where is anger management? Where is anger control?
See?
Yeah, but you see, sometimes people do these things in court, and this is, again, just before we came on air today, I was watching something on a woman in Florida, in America, had hired somebody to kill her husband because she would then get insurance money. And unfortunately for her, she went to an ex-boyfriend, and he became so concerned he called the police.
Wow.
So the police said, why should we believe you? And he said, well, you know, why would I lie about it? So they then got him, say, look, go along with her. And she was on camera saying, look, this is not a joke. I want this to be done. She didn't realize that there was a secret camera, because the person that was brought and introduced to her as the killer was in fact a policeman. And so he came in plain clothes, sat with her. She handed over the money for him to buy the gun and gave him a picture of the husband and said, this is him. And she said, make sure you wipe off my fingerprints.
I'm told the immigration PRO is on the line.
Yes.
Mamanding.
So people can...
Oh,
Wow.
we have Sekmati and the PRO of the Gambia Police Force. Look at me.
Immigration
on the line.
Uh-huh.
Good morning, Mr. Mamanding S. Diba and Sekmati Jau.
Good morning, my friends at QTV.
Hey,
Good morning.
Mr. Diba, it's been a while.
You see, it's been a while.
I hope you're still following well, Tare.
You don't have to shout.
Well, Tara, very well. I'm a very big fan, and I'm still waiting for my traditional hat.
Okay, all right. Well, we said we should engage you this morning. I mean, to talk about the airport security fee.
The security fee?
The security fee at the airport. Can you tell us why are they charging people security fee? In fact, the ministry, the Minister for Tourism said it is illegal. It's not part of what they're asking for.
Unless they use it the wrong way, but I think, yeah.
Thank you very much, my friend, Mr. Balde, for having me this morning. This security report, all I can say about your question is that, no, this is an arrangement that is signed between the government of the Gambia and a particular country, a company rather, to provide these services for our airport. This is something that has, revenue election benefits, and also it has very important security benefits. The payment of the $20, I know this is something that has to do with the project itself, and the details of which I may not be able to explain. Maybe the members, people from the Ministry of Finance will be able to say something about it, or other partners or other agencies that are involved in this.
Mr. Diba, the executive director for Center for Research and Policy Development, Sheikh Mati Diaw, he was at the airport and they seized his passport. Is that constitutional? Is that right? Are we supposed to do that?
If I may politely ask back again, we would be interested to know who must have seized their passport, so that if it is something that has to do with our officers, we will be able to adequately respond to the question.
Mm-hmm. Well, you said, I mean, there is a particular company that the Gambia government signed an agreement with for people to be paying these fees. Can you, we just want to understand, sometimes we have issues in this country. People will tell you, I don't want to mention this name, I don't want to do this. But we want to understand as Gambians. If we understand, then everything will be clear. We won't have any discrepancies.
I want to answer your question in a very simple manner.
Yes.
That's why I want to understand it very well. If Mr. Diaw complained that his passport was seized at the airport, I would want to understand who seized his passport.
Well,
we'll have him online.
According to what is said, fingers are pointed at the immigration personnel who were there.
Thank you very much. As I sit here, I can comfortably tell you that the passport in question was never seized by our officials at the airport. When the matter came up, we did not rest. We want to make sure that we get to the bottom of this whole allegation. And we spoke to our officers on the ground, and we spoke to some other partners, who are operating at the airport. But so far as we speak, what we are able to uncover is that the GID officers at the airport never seized Mr. Diaw's passport. Instead, what happened was, to give you a background to the whole incident, Mr. Diaw arrived at the airport on this fateful evening. And when he arrived, upon arrival at the arrival lounge, he walked to the immigration booth for the normal processes to be undertaken. So as he was, waiting to be enrolled, an official from the security force alerted our officers in the booth that Mr. Diaw did not pay the $20 fee. And as a result, he was supposed to pay. So instead of, proceeding with the enrollment process, our officer in the booth decided not to call on the instruction of the supervisor, decided to call the enrollment process.
Okay.
And, refer Mr. Diaw's passport back to the security force.
All right.
So that we will go and track out with them before he can come and undertake the
Okay, all right. Mr. Diba, we will get back to you. I mean, we'll talk to Sheikh Mati. He's also on the line. Good morning, Mr. Diaw.
Good morning, Mr. Walder.
Did you get your passport?
Well, I think I'm still enjoying it. So, I'm yet to receive my passport. I think that I have to pay to get it back. I'm still with that.
Okay, we want to understand who seized your passport?
So, my passport, when I got in, I went straight to the immigration. I refused to go to the security port chaos, whatever that is called. I refused to go there. I followed the line, the queue to the immigration. And there they processed me, and they processed me well, just like they do whether there is payment or not. They processed me well and nicely. And then after that, my passport was left with the immigration. Instead of handing it over to me, the supervisor of the officer that was enrolling me was the one that picked it.
Okay, all right. We also have the PRO of the immigration on the line. He said he can clearly and boldly say your passport wasn't confiscated by the immigration.
then why is my passport there? That's the question that I have for the immigration. Why is the passport, and what do you do with people that did not pay?
Okay.
You know, when they're coming. So for me, where is my passport then?
Setmati, the PRO is on the line. PRO, where is Setmati's passport?
Thank you very much once again, Mr. Balde. What I want Mr. Setmati Jao and the entire audience to understand is that the arrangement at the airport is that once passengers arrive, they need to first proceed to the security port desk where they have to do the payment of the $20 fee. So once that payment is done, they come to the immigration. But in this particular case, Mr. Jao did not do that payment. He came straight to the immigration desk. Upon arrival at our desk, our officers were alerted, were informed by a security port official that this particular passenger have not paid, have not done the payment. So on that case, for that being the case, rather, our officers, are obliged to halt the enrollment process, to refer the passport back to the security port for Mr. Jao to go and settle with them. Okay? So as that process was going on, as that conversation was going on, Mr. Jao walked out. This is something that is in record, and the CCTV footages have captured everything. It might be in the interest of you people at QTV and any other person who is interested in seeing this part, can walk to the airport, and we will avail you this at first hand. So this is what happened. Mr. Jao did not wait for the conversation to end. He was not happy with what was going on, and he just walked out.
Okay.
So the passport, is at the airport in the custody of the relevant authorities there.
All right, PRO and Setmati, please hold on. We have a video to play. Well, we recorded this with the Minister for Tourism a few months back on our Heu Heu program. We'll take a look at the video. You can just hold on the line. We'll be back.
I can tell you that I hate this security tax. I don't like it. It's there, but I don't like it. But since government have signed a contract, we can understand the situation. A contract is gone into. We have to live with it for the time being until government decide otherwise. But it's an obstacle, particularly the mode of payment at that airport. I have to be honest with you. This is my honest opinion about this. I don't hide my feelings for anything that I feel. I don't believe in, and I don't believe in that airport tax the way it's been operated on, and the entire connoting that we are competing. We are in a competitive market. You don't increase the cost of your market for an airport tax like that. That's not my belief. As far as I'm concerned, it is not the best for us. It is affecting, yes. If the payment was inside ticket, you can even understand that. People will not notice it. But the way it is collected, it's adding a lot of problems for some of our clients, for some of the tourists that comes here. Even Gambian, not only tourists, for any other passenger for that matter. So for me, I'm against this airport tax.
Any idea? I mean, you work in the government, you are still
Well, government, I cannot tell you. You see, let me tell you, government work differently. Every ministry have your own way of doing things. The ministry that implemented it has a reason of implementing in terms of security. Well, you go and find out. You go and find out which ministry implemented it. You will get to know. They have a reason to say we need this for security reason. But tourism, who are bringing in tourists, would say it's not good for us. So government works like that. You have interlinkages that sometimes may not match together. It happens. But for us, for me, what concerns me most is not only about the cost, but the method in which the collection is done. You understand what I'm saying? If this was in the airport, it would not be in the air ticket, it would not be as visible as it is. So that's the position I have on this. You see, Sierra Leone have cancelled theirs. Sierra Leone have cancelled theirs. And these are all countries competing in the same market with us. So we know that it's not good forward.
Well, I don't understand who is creating the discrepancy here. The minister said they are interlinked sometimes that doesn't connect to other departments. And of course, if PRO is there with Setmati. PRO, did you hear that?
No, I did not hear you.
You did not hear what the Minister for Tourism said? He said, they are not in they said they are not in support of it. The airport fee is not constitutional, it's not right, it's wrong. It shouldn't be done. It doesn't favor the tourism sector as well.
Okay.
Yes, that's what he said on a video recorded by, he was with Aliou Cisse.
Okay.
Yeah, so what is the immigration going to do about this?
That is a comment from the Honorable Minister, and I don't want to comment on that further because that is not something that I am really interested in, particularly at this point of this discussion. What I'm here to clarify is to explain to our esteemed, how do I call it, public, that the allegations that we have meted out in our officers at the airport that we see somebody's passport for not paying the $20 fee. It's not something that we found to be true.
All right, Mr. Ade.
Said Mati, I hope you're still with us. It's Ade
Yes,
Darame.
yes.
Hi. I just wanted to find out, because this hasn't come through in all the things we've heard so far. Were you refusing to pay the fee as a point of principle, or were there some other reason why you did not pay the fee?
Yeah, clearly it was a point of principle, and I think for a very long time I've been paying before, and I think this is to be clear that I have been paying before, but then all along while I was paying, I feel like this was not right. It was also injustice. Why would people pay to leave their own country, and why would people pay also to come back into their own country? But what is more frustrating for me is that in many places where you go, your first point of contact is usually immigration officers. They are the ones that have to handle your passport, process you, and all that. But in Gambia, when you are coming, the first point of contact is the security report, taking your details and then entering. And so I think Mr. Diva is talking about allegations. There is no allegation. I just reported exactly what happened. I stood on the line to security report. I followed the queue. I did my protest peacefully. I followed the queue, and then until it was my turn, I moved to the immigration because that's what I wanted to do. I moved to the immigration, and I stood on the line, and I waited for my turn to go to the immigration officer. So I handed my passport, not to security report, I handed my passport to the immigration officer. So when I handed my passport to the immigration officer, did the immigration officer return my passport to me? But not, he handed it over to her supervisor who was working, and my tag was not paid. So they said I don't pay, and I told them clearly that I was not going to pay. So I was there to protest that this fee is not right, it's injustice, and it is destroying the whole country. And I was really influenced. What really rekindled my protest was the report, the damning report that I saw from Malaga. And I decided not to be part of this protest. And so they held my passport, and now they are telling me I walked out, I should have negotiated. It was clear from my side that I was not going to pay the fee. And that's what it is. So they hold the passport until I have to pay. So that's what it is. So there is no allegation. I just reported what really happened, and that's what it is.
So, Said Mati, are you going to pay the fee to get your passport?
I am not going to pay the fee. The problem is not even about immigration. It's about the fee, I mean, the corruption that is involved. Why is it that we are losing 270 million when we are talking about poverty? You are just talking about the murder cases that are happening here. Our country is losing a lot, and yet what immigration basically is doing is helping those people enforce that. But whether it is through directives, whether they are doing their job, my issue is not with immigration. My issue is with the system, and the system is what we have to talk about. And I did mention that immigration, they treated me well. They took my fingerprint. They even use their webcam on my face, and at the end of the day, they held my passport, and they talking about that they did not treat that passport. Why didn't they return it to me? So I'm not going to pay. And for me, that is the problem. Then they can hold the passport.
A question here for PRO. Thank you for that, Said Mati. PRO, I hope you're still with us. Said Mati is somebody who has a high profile, and so because of his case, we've become aware of this. Are you aware of anybody else whose passport has been withheld because they have refused to pay the fee?
This is the first time this kind of thing has been brought to my notice. There may be some other isolated cases, but as far as I'm concerned, this is the first time I have received this kind of information about somebody refusing to pay and the passport becomes an issue. But going back to what I have just said, I just want to underline the fact that the passport was not seized by GID office. Okay, Because if you say my passport was seized by immigration officers for refusing to pay the $20 fee, I will consider that as something that is misleading, as far as we are concerned. Because the public will assume that GID refused to, hand back somebody's passport, or we have seized somebody's passport for not paying the $20 fee. What happened here is, very, very simple. But that is the whole thing that's in the whole story. The gentleman was at our desk, and we received a signal from our colleague for secure report that based on the agreement, based on the arrangement that every passenger before enrollment must pay the $20 fee. Here is a person at your desk who have not paid the $20 fee, and therefore we are obliged not to enroll that particular passenger. So because of that, we decided to halt the enrollment process and, hand back the passport to the secure report officers for them to go and settle with Mr. Zhao, who is the passenger in question here. But as that negotiation, as that talk is on the way, then Mr. Zhao did not have the patience. He just walked out and left the passport at the booth. So this is it. He just walked out and left the passport at the booth and, went. Then thereafter, whatever happens to the passport, he will not have a clear explanation of
what
that.
is next.
So this is how...
I think with all due respect to Mr. Diba, I was the one there. He was not there. Of course, he get the information from these people, but I wasn't there. I had no contact with the security report people. I did not hand over my passport to security report people. They asked me to pay. I refused to pay. I walked direct to the immigration line, and there I handed over my passport to the immigration officer. I don't want to mention name because I have friendly environment. I knew that usually people will come and do cover-up. I left my passport there, and when I was done, the lady took it. The supervisor was the one that didn't inform the one that was doing the enrollment that this one did not pay. Because the supervisor was standing right when I was having that exchange with the security report people. Pay, I will not pay. I said I will not pay. So that was the issue. And when I finished, after they even stamped, he asked, like my passport was not stamped. They said it was altered. My passport was not stamped. It was the supervisor that informed the lady that you should stamp his passport. So now it has not been paid. Now my passport was stamped in front of me. Why would I come and I'm trying to fix the system? Why would I come and mislead the public about something that has happened? And this is the issue. For me, I'm saying that the issue is not with immigration. Immigration handle me in accordance with what they want. But now immigration is telling me that they are urged. They are urged. It's an obligation for them to ensure that I pay. So I'm arguing that immigration is the one enforcing the law. Because they were the ones that took, when security report could not take my passport, it was immigration that I handed my passport that took my passport to security report. So why should I say security report took my passport? Because they could not. And they have no right to hold my passport. And this was my argument. And today you are telling me that I walked out. I was there to protect. What do you expect me to do? I think with all due respect, let's just look at the issue. I think this issue is beyond immigration. This is a national issue, national call for concern, and this is what we are trying to address. I said, and I have said it again, immigration handled me well. There was no, confusion. Everything was done accordingly. I took my fingerprints. They even took my face. And at the end of the day, they stamped my passport and they held my passport. And so I should blame security report for that?
Yes.
I did not deal with security report.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Zhao. Mr. Diba, you've heard said Mati. He said immigration handled him well. They've taken his fingerprint and they've taken his picture. I mean, nothing happened. But the only issue that he has is, his passport is being confiscated by a personnel of the Gambia immigration. So what are we going to do? Because all passports belongs to the immigration department. So are you ready to give him his passport?
That is not a decision for us to make, because the fact of the matter is that all inbound and outbound passengers are supposed to pay this $20 levy, which is not something that is unilaterally decided by the GID. This is not something in our power, to waive it for any person. So if the arrangement at the airport is that all persons traveling in and out must pay, those who default to pay, this is one of the mechanisms in place to take care of their situation. I don't think the GID, we are in a very good position to take care of that or return somebody's passport who have defaulted. So now the fact of the matter is that Mr. Joe can still engage, the rightful authority at the airport and see what can be done about this policy. I'm happy that you have mentioned the fact that our officers have taken good care of him, and they were very professional, in their dealings with him also. So that's a merit for us. But equally, I just want to assure him that we don't equally have any issues. Okay, people are entitled to express their grievances. This is the beauty of democracy. So, but what I'm simply trying to make our audience understand is that we, have not in any way seized his passport. It was, a kind of, how do I call it? If I may call it, Mr. Jau's own decision to leave the passport there because of his frustration. Yes, that would be the best explanation for me right now. But indeed, we have not seized his passport. The passport is there, with the authorities who are designated to handle such cases. He can, at any point in time, move back to the airport and settle this matter with them.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for talking to us on this morning. Thank you, Mr. Diwat. Thank you, Sir Matijao.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Back to the studio here. Now, well, I know where Seth Mati is driving at, what he is talking about. I mean, it's not about paying the fee. I know Seth Mati can pay the fee, but it's the system change. That's what he is driving at, Mr.
As I asked him there, is it on a point of principle? And he said, yes, it is. Look, everybody who has heard about the fee has been against it. We saw the clip there from the minister.
Exactly.
This is the Minister of Tourism is against it. We talked about GRTS and their memo. I think this might be something that they need to look at again and possibly also rescind. It's been very unpopular, and in the way it's been brought in, very arbitrary manner. For the immigration people and the people at the airport, you feel sorry for them because they've just been asked to enforce it.
Sure.
It seems it wasn't even discussed even with them. So I think,
Yeah, when you look at it, I mean, the minister said on that video, there are things that are interlinked at some point. But, I mean, there are things that the Ministry for Tourism doesn't agree, but other departments agree with that.
Yes.
I mean, I think there should be a proper coordination mechanism
Sure.
to put these things.
Government should talk to government. I think it would be quite unusual for a Minister of Tourism in any country to come out so forcefully and speak out against something which is quite linked, very much linked to his ministry. And obviously he was not consulted about it. Otherwise he would have expressed his displeasure and perhaps it wouldn't have gone ahead. But I just wanted to correct something you said. He said it was unconstitutional. He never said that. He never used that word. And he never said it was illegal. He was against it, and he didn't see the sense of it. But he never said it was illegal. He never said it was unconstitutional. So I just think
he was against it.
We should just clarify
Exactly.
that.
So, Lori, your take before we leave Mr. Ade.
Yes, I think this airport levy, usually they're intended to do expansions or plow back to do any reconstruction at the airport. But I don't think there was, like you said, proper consultation from all stakeholders.
Yeah,
because
the minister mentioned Sierra Leone and said that
Sierra Leone's ones have been cancelled.
Well, it was, but they brought it back, and people have been complaining about it. I mean, they complained loudly on social media, in the media, general media, and it was rescinded, but they brought it back, and it's just to make money.
Just to make money. So I think
I'm planning to travel to Guinea, Conakry. So I hope
have your $20.
I'm not gonna pay.
Have your $20.
Have your $20 to be on the safe side, or
$20?
else your passport will be
can do for me?
Your passport will be seized.
Yes.
Otherwise, by somebody.
By somebody you will want to name.
We don't know who.
I'm going to use the backway of the airport. I live in Lamen, Kerewan, so I can just, use the backway.
Somebody will seize your passport. And then we'll be debating who seized it.
Well, in fact, I think this should be put into place. I mean, if it's going to be a rule, let it be a rule for everyone. Let everybody understand. But if people are denying, if people are saying it is, and others are saying it is not. Now we'll go back to the BBC. We'll connect to them. As you know, today it's the day that they're going to
It's the burial.
The burial.
The burial. President, and of course Joe Biden was also there.
Joe Biden was given special permission to travel by himself. The others had to take a bus together. And so everybody from Canada, New Zealand, France, and so on, none of them objected. But the Americans always have to have their own security. So he's got about 200 security people. He travels in a special car. So they made special arrangements for him.
You know, I mean, most people talked about, well, what will happen after the
hymns she wanted sung at
Yes,
her
we are
funeral
back
and so
again, Mr.
So, yeah.
Yes, you're
Yeah.
watching QTV this morning, and the program is sponsored by Opticalia. They are located at the Tropic Building, Senegambia. They are experts when it comes to ear, eye, nose, throat, and you know,
ear.
They are specialists.
Yeah.
I mean, you visit them.
I visited them, as I mentioned, and in fact, because they're going to be here, I should have been wearing the glasses they made for me. But they also checked my ear, and I went with our colleague Jennifer Sonko, and I think I mentioned on the program last. They did a very good examination. I was quite impressed. I would say it's on a par with the kind of service I would get in England. You know, it was of that high standard. So I was very impressed, both in terms of the glasses and in terms of them checking my ears.
Okay.
So, yeah.
All right. Interesting, Mr. Ade. Now we'll take a leave of you. We understand you have a whole lot of work on your desk waiting for you.
As ever.
Can you imagine the guy holding the QTV news?
Oh, yes.
If we keep you here, there'll be no news today.
And viewers, just so you know, there'll be African News Roundup, which meant I had to work yesterday.
All right.
I don't even
Thank you very much, Mr. Ade, for coming. We'll take a short break.
Yeah.
After the break, we'll be back.
Light. From the beginning of time, light has been there.
It is integral to our survival and to our way of living.
We need light to work,
To build,
to grow things, and even to see our loved ones.
light makes things easier and better.
So QCell has changed the way you buy Q-Power to make it easier and more accessible.
You can now access the same service quickly and get your cash power tokens instantly with the new QCell Q-Power code.
To light up your world, simply dial *363#.
With a touch of your fingers,
With ease and convenience from the comfort of your home or office,
you can bring light into your world instantly with star 363 hash.
Q-Power, lighting your world.
QCell Sunyabus.
We innovate, others follow.
Have you been looking for the perfect indoor router with long-range Wi-Fi coverage and faster internet speed connecting all your smart devices? Well, we present to you the QCell Indoor Router, a router that has all you need and much more for just $4,275. You can get 4G plus internet speed, wide coverage, and connect up to 15 devices. That's not all. The indoor router can be used for both office and home needs. So, enhance your internet experience with our indoor router. For more info, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus, we innovate, others follow. Your favorite QCell service has gotten bigger. eFunkanta. Now you can loan bigger credit amounts to make life easier for you. Loan $75 and $100 and pay later. Yes, you heard me right. Get credit loan from $10 to $100 using eFunkanta by dialing star 393 hash anytime you run out of credit. Whether you want to buy Q-Power, browse the internet, make urgent calls, or send SMS. eFunkanta is the service for you. Dial star 393 hash and choose the loan amount of your choice with no hassle. For more information, call our customer care on 111. QCell, Sunyabus, the pioneers of mobile loan service in the Gambia. We innovate, others follow. Terms and conditions.
This is QTV This Morning. I am Ibrahim Obalde. We are back again on this program. Now we have our last segment. Well, Lolly, it's important to invite Opticalia Gambia
Yes.
On this platform to discuss, some of the things they do. We'll do no justice if they sponsor this program without inviting them here to talk about their services. So it's important. We have... well, I always start with ladies. Although I've taken your name before her, Khadija Doumbouya, she's already here. And of course, we have John Ndour. Gentleman and lady, welcome to This Morning.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And thank you very much for being partners on this program. Yes. But first of all, tell us about Opticalia Gambia.
Yeah, first of all, I will say I am John. And I am a sales rep and also a lab technician of Opticalia. And Opticalia has been around for almost 30 years plus, and they have a huge experience in the optic world. And they have expanded throughout the years, and now in the Gambia, providing a very, very good service when it comes to the optical environment. And in Opticalia, we specialize in so many things when it comes to optics. We have contact lenses, we have different lens materials, we have different lens coating, we have sunglasses for the UV, because we have been realizing that in the Gambia it's very easy to get glasses without this UV protection, and this is something that I really focus on, and I see it has been a very, very great impact from having a shop like Opticalia producing sunglasses with UV protect that can protect us from cataract, because many people don't know where all this thing comes from. And I think it's very, very, I'm happy to be part of this team. I'm happy to be part of a Gambian, being part of this big company that is bringing a change in the Gambian lifestyle when it comes to optics. I'm really,
Exactly. Yes, you'll take us through some of the things.
The services that you offer at Opticalia.
Yes, because I've seen ear, throat, nose, and eye.
Yes, that's the clinic part. I'm sorry, my name is Khadija, and I'm the sales rep from Opticalia and Medicalia. So we have the clinic, we have the ophthalmologist, and we have also the audiologist. So we treat eye problems, ears.
The ophthalmologist deals with the eye.
Yes, they deal with the eye. Audiologist deals with the ear, and we have the ENT, ears, nose, and throat. So we have them there. So if you have any problems with your eyes, ears, nose, and throat, you can come to Medicalia or Opticalia.
What other problems do you focus on? Your eyes can have different problems. Some people are long-sighted, some people are short-sighted. Some people might have different issues with their eyes. So what are some of the like eye problems that you deal with? I mean, to help them see again properly.
Yeah, when it comes to optics, basically the normal eye problems that we normally come across is the people that are having long-sighted issues of nearsighted, is myopia and hyperopia respectively, and you also have astigmatism, presbyopia. I could go into details, but maybe it might cover a whole lot of time, but it's a huge something. But these are very sensitive topics that it's very, very important to talk about, and especially the myopia. Those are people that have lost the ability to focus on distance objects, so they will need glasses that will help them. And also there is another thing that I would like to talk about, which we also focus on, which is treatments that comes with the lenses, okay? Because in the Gambia here, there is a mentality that lenses are for those with bad eyes.
Sure.
And that is the mindset that we are trying to eradicate and understand that lenses do not just regulate your eyesight. They also come with treatments, you know, that protect your eyes from, let's say, computers, the UV from the sun, the artificial lights that we have been surrounded with, okay? Now, let me strongly focus on this particular treatment, which is called the blue light filter. Most of us have heard about it. Okay, this is a treatment that is a coating that we apply on the lenses that protects the eye from any electronic devices. Now, let's say we are surrounded by electronic devices every day. How many hours do we spend on screen? It's getting like exploding out there. We need our phones, we need our computers.
Especially for me, now I look at my phone 24/7.
Yeah. Yes, definitely. So this is where the blue light comes into effect, okay? Now this blue light blocks the blue light rays that are emitting from the computers and electronic devices, okay? Because those blue lights are very harmful and they could cause way more damage that you could understand. And we have these lenses that are called the Zeiss Blue Protect that are very, very, very good, and they do a magnificent work when it comes to blocking this blue light. And I will let my colleague here to try to explain more about the Zeiss Blue Protect and maybe give us a little demonstration on how they help us to block this blue light.
Exactly.
So
yes,
I just want to ask, at this time, who are the clients that you receive more? Like old age, young people, like the coverage?
Everyone comes, especially the young people. They are the ones, because, you know, we are always on our phones, on TVs and the screens, so you need protection to protect you from those UV lights that comes through your eyes. So it's very important to get lenses from us, especially our Zeiss Blue Protect. So it will protect you from the light rays that comes out from the phones, the screens, and the TVs. You know, most of us, like me, I'm on my phone 24/7. So I use my lens to protect from the UV light rays. So I will do a demonstration of how it works on this Zeiss.
Yeah.
So
I was wondering, what is that?
So I will demonstrate to you how it works. As you can see, this is a UV light. So I will remove my lens to see how it blocks it.
Okay.
So
if we can zoom into that so that we can see it properly, we definitely want to see that.
Sure.
Yes.
This is the UV light. So my lens is a Zeiss lens with Blue Protect. So as you can see, it blocks it automatically.
Now, for you to understand,
okay,
as a layman, yes, we want to understand what
we really want to comprehend that.
Now, for you to understand,
so how does this thing work?
Now, this is a device from Zeiss, you understand, that projects this blue light that comes out from any electronic devices, okay? Now, what it does, it's a simulator, okay? It produces the blue light, and you would use any lenses in front of it, and it will tell you how much of the blue light is blocking. Now, if I take it off, you can see the UV appearing.
Oh, yeah.
So it means the light is going through.
Yeah. That's the UV.
Yes.
You can see the light. I mean, you can see UV. I mean, it is, okay, I'm seeing the reflection.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, what material lens can you put in here to block the UV, the whole of it, so it won't pass through and get to your eyes?
Oh.
And the Zeiss Blue Protect does it Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, so it's telling you the quality of the lens.
Yes. Exactly.
It's
And how
telling you
protective it can be.
the lens is protective.
Very,
I mean,
very
it's telling you, but not all lens can do this.
Of course, not all lenses.
Yes.
Not all lenses, yeah.
So this is very significant. Lord.
It is. It is very, very significant.
You know, most of the time we have these things happening.
But we don't know.
We don't know.
Yes.
For people like me, I go to Westfield, buy the $50 lens, you know, put it on, think I am there while I am not there.
Exactly.
In fact, I'm not even closer to there.
To protecting yourself
Lolly.
from the blue light. And I think
Yes.
it is important you always come out and talk to people, let them know that you cannot just go and buy glasses without a prescription
Oh, yes.
from a medical,
Oh, yes.
like
I think
a
I
medical
agree with Lolly
Mm-hmm.
with that a lot. One thing that Opticalia we're trying to let the people know, it's not a place where you can just come and get glasses and go.
No.
It's a place where you are sensitized on why you need glasses.
Important.
You understand? Why is glasses important for you? Okay, it's a necessity if, okay, you have a problem that has to do with the glasses. But when it comes to treatment, I always say to my clients, everybody should be wearing glasses.
Yeah.
And they will laugh. I will say, why? It's because you don't need to have an eye problem, okay? I just explained about the Blue Protect. What does it do? It doesn't correct your eyes. It helps protect your eyes from the laptops, from the computers, from all electronic devices. You might be having good eyes, okay? But yet still, you're attached to the screen. Now, what is protecting? Nothing.
Nothing.
So you can have good vision, but still need protection.
Like
okay?
my case.
Exactly.
When I walk under the sun, like from the sun, I enter a room, I can't see clearly. I will struggle. I'll just have to close my eyes for a while to make sure I'm able to see. So I think with that, you have a mechanism, or you have advice towards people like me who encounter this kind of sight.
Exactly. And the Blue Protect does that too. And especially those that drives at night, the anti-glare, it serves as an anti-glare. So the opposite cars, the light rays that comes in the opposite cars, it dims it down. So when driving at night, you don't need to worry with your Zeiss lenses. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I think it would be important for our moms at home to know exactly what services they have for you, and to really understand Opticalia, their being here. It's really important. I think you can also talk to them to create more awareness, let people know that you're there, because tropics, when you say tropic, they say, hey, dafa ser, fofu duma fa muna dem, hanga place bu ser la. But I think lolu warta tax nit ñi duñ mëna ñëw fofu nonu.
And you know, the notion that we have, I mean,
see,
so I think that's that, without knowing the benefits.
The benefits.
It's
I think dina am solo pull, like we talk about the benefits and why one needs to wear glasses to protect yourself.
Of course. It's really a great point, and it's really something that we always endeavor, try to push harder to try to sensitize the people. When you sit with us, we give you these informations. Okay, we expect you, even if you're living without buying the glass, you're living with information that might be, you understand, that might be very, very, very good for you in the near future. So these are the things that we do. We try to feed in information on how important they are. And Opticalia, that's what we do. It's not all about the glasses. That's
so the ear as well. You've mentioned the ear.
Very important.
Yes, and the throat.
Tell us about the ear cleaning. I think I need to go clean my ear. Sometimes I have hearing problems.
So yes,
I have the expert here.
so yes, we would like to know more about the ear and the throat.
Okay,
as well.
that's Medicalia. So we have audiologists there. So when you come, we screen your ears. The mentality we have is we need to clean our ears.
Exactly.
Cotton board, and that's very bad. You don't need to use cotton. You don't need to use anything.
Oh, really? So I don't need to use cotton bud. I have a whole lot of it in my bag. I mean, I use it almost every day.
No, it's harmful. What you need to do is just come to us and we will flush it out.
How do you flush it out?
With water.
How?
Warm water. That's what we use.
You use warm water?
Yes.
I can use warm water at home.
No,
How do you use
you don't have the tools.
The wrong place.
Oh, you need tools to do it.
Of course.
So do you have the tools?
We have everything.
Tell us the process.
So we have a tool that we use. We put the warm water inside and put it in your ear and flush it out to remove all the wax that's inside the ear. So that's the safest thing to do than putting a cotton bud or anything inside your ears. Yeah.
So what does it do? Yes, Lolly, it's important for us to know.
Yes.
When you have so much wax in your ears, what does it do?
Wax is very good in the ear.
Yeah.
So it's very important to leave it there because they have their own thing to do in the ears.
Yeah, mostly
Yes.
block bacteria, avoid infections, because that's what they do.
See?
Yeah.
Exactly.
Oh,
Yeah.
really?
Yes.
And
You don't need to take it out.
Okay.
see, this is
Only
new.
when it is too much. Yeah, and when it's too much, it starts giving you hearing problems.
So
and
when
you
is
need
it
to
too
get
much?
checked. Well, sometimes you feel discomfort in your ears, okay,
Exactly.
and sometimes you feel irregularities that you have the urge of trying to check. No one tells you to go and check this particular part of your body when you feel the urge to. And when you go and visit the audiologist, he will screen, have a look at it, and will tell you if it's due to be
How
cleaned or
often
not.
should you
Should
clean
one
your
clean your ear?
About 6 months, every 6 months or a year.
I have never cleaned my ears before. I mean, it's going to 40 years now.
No,
Then
you should see.
It's going to
should.
40
We
years
should.
now.
We will go.
Man,
We will come and see
if I
you.
come to your place, when you clean my ear, please don't video. Come on.
But I promise you, it's a very smooth and easy process. The first time it happened to me, I was panicked. But at the end of the day, I realized that
How does it go?
we are
And
so-
what we do is, you will see it yourself inside, what's inside your ears, because we have a screen.
You'll be watching it on the
You'll be
screen.
watching, yes, you'll be
see.
watching exactly
Wow.
how it sits inside.
That's
so
fascinating. That's
Okay.
beautiful.
Yeah.
All right, it's important. What about the throat?
True.
Yeah.
Do you
Yeah.
need to be sick? Like, do you need to have something there? that
Yeah,
before
if you
can-
have discomfort in your throat, you come there because some people have a kind of goiter in the ear and in the throat,
Throat,
sorry.
yeah.
So you come to our ENT doctor. So he will explain, he will check and explain more about the throat too.
Okay.
But yeah, to be well assured, we have very, very qualified doctors that are willing to take care of you with sophisticated equipment. That's why we are different, to make sure that everything goes smooth and you have the proper result that is needed.
I hope you people are, I mean, my glasses are there already.
Of course.
Yes, all right. Thank you very much, John Dur and Khadija Doumbia, for coming on this program. And thank you very much for sponsoring This Morning.
Thank you. It's
Yes, all right. Be rest assured, This Morning it's going to sell Opticalia Gambia.
Oh, we will love to.
Yes, viewers, this is all we have for you, Lolly, today on this edition. Tomorrow, join us. I'll be back here with Lolly, inshallah. Have a wonderful day.
Thank you.
Medicalia is a high-quality clinic from Europe, which is now in the Gambia. Do you have an eye problem? Do you feel a hearing difficulty? Medicalia is here to ease the pain for you. The first and only hearing aid dispensing facility nationwide, where patients can be tested and treated to recover from their hearing loss. Fitted with latest generation equipment, our doctors can provide healthcare assistance for eyes, ears, nose, and throat. Common diseases like glaucoma or diabetic retinopathy can be diagnosed and followed up for fast and correct treatment. Make your appointment with the eye or ear, nose, and throat ENT specialist today to relieve any pain you might be feeling, as consultants are available daily. Contact us for more information. Visit us at Tropic Shopping Center near Senegambia from 9 a.m. to 11 p.m. every day of the week, or call us on 503-4411 or 7767-123. Medicalia, premium care, personal touch.